What's up, y'all? Keith Dykes here with W.K.D. Construction. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, thanks for stopping by. You can always hit that subscribe button, man, and come back. Check us out all the time. So let's go build something. All right, y'all. So we're here this morning on my current project. This is going to be a pool house. We've got a kind of a different situation. We're going to be building a house over here too, but we're building the pool house right now for our clients. That way they can move into this thing while we're building the house. But we're going to do something today that I've done, but I haven't done. You know what I mean? there's different aspects of it that I have not done. So let me take you in, show you. So we've been on this thing for a little bit. We've got it's all dried in. The guys Brent and Steve are putting the siding on. Here's in the garage. We got a custom cardboard door here. But we do have the first coat of paint on. The ceilings are finished, so we do have some lighting in here. That way we can see. But we are going to be installing a curbless shower. So when we built this house, this is slab on grade. As you can see, that's kind of roughed in. We get all the drywall and painted and ready to go. And I always leave like where the shower's gonna go, I leave that out because we're gonna install some curdy board. But as you can see, I've got a hole that is formed in the concrete. So we did that because we knew in anticipation of this that the clients wanted a curbless shower. Like I said, we're going to do some of this that I have done, some aspects that I have not done. So what I have done is, of course, tiled shower. We've used all the Curdy system. I've done curbless entry, but I've used the Schluter preformed sloped tray. But in this aspect, it's a little different. We do have a hole that is formed in the concrete, so we're down to the bare gravel at the bottom. So we are going to have to get our plumbing roughed in. Well, the plumbing's already there, but we're just going to have to tie into where our P-trap goes. We're going to have to form around that, pour a slab below grade, below the top of the slab to allow for our sloping material, which will be a dry pack, a mud base. Kind of the old school system. Because that is the biggest thing is that we can't really use a foam tray here because the clients want to use a penny tile, and Schluter recommends about a 2x2 tile to be laid or installed on top of their foam trays. You get any smaller than that, then you get really into a potential for damaging the waterproofing, like as a point load, somebody's a little extra heavy, they step on it with their heel, it's liable to break through. So we don't want to do that. And the next best thing is to do an old school fashion with a mud pan. Also, you can see we've got a pocket door. This is not a very common scenario. This brand of pocket door is Eclipse. It's a little different. It's a little better. It's all metal. They do have horizontal reinforcement here. Your studs are on horizontal. We applied this. This is some 3/8, right at 7/16, just sheeting. We used some really, I think we used some like 3/4 inch lathing screws on the inside. That way we could fasten it and it's not going to be poking through. But that gives us a backer that we can apply our curdy board to, screw to, and then it will hold the tile. So that is a little different scenario that I've never run into. So we're gonna get that worked out and make that functionable too. Plumbing valves, all the plumbing valves have been roughed in. We do have foam insulation. The client wants a bench or a seat and a couple niches. So I'm going to get the Curdy preformed niches. We'll install those, probably one over here. We moved the valve onto this side because there's going to be a fixed panel of glass right here because we've got a toilet. So we're going to have a fixed panel of glass here with a door. So I positioned the valve over here on this side. That way you can turn it on before you get into the shower. You don't want to have to reach in here and turn the water on way over there. So the valve's over here. So I'm thinking we're going to stick a niche right where the valve would go, and then maybe one right here. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So we've got to get in here. Like I said, I got to get my plumbing situated, figure out what we're going to do with that. I got to do a little planing on my studs. I'm sure I'll check my studs, make sure they're all in line. We don't have any Humpty Dumpties in there. I'll do some blocking for the bench, where the bench is going to go, so we've got something solid to screw to. And then we'll start our waterproofing. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you how to prep and waterproof this curbless shower entry.
I guess the first thing we need to do is find our plumbing. I had a temporary thing on my plumbing at one time, but I guess it was moved. Oh, me. Oh, there it is. So a good thing about doing the dry packed mud, you can put your drain wherever you need it to, you know what I mean? This situation, I think I already roughed in the plumbing to be in the center, which we could also move it here if we needed to, but a lot of situations the drain is going to be in one place if you're using a preformed tray. So this gives you a little more flexibility to be able to put the drain wherever you want to put it, you know what I mean? All right, so to get my drain centered, I need 20.5 this way and 35 this way. So I just got my level set at 35. Got some tape on there, mark center on that. So now I need to know. Now I know it needs to come up right there. Right there. .20 and a half, 34 3/4. I think I can get, once I get that glued on there, I can adjust that and get it right. If you're doing the plumbing yourself, not having a plumber do it, and you're in a slab situation like this, be sure to get a glue together P-trap. Don't get the one with the compression fittings, because there'll be no way to axe this thing later. You need to go ahead and get it all glued up and have a totally watertight fitting on there. Don't rely on the little compression fittings. Well, we got the P-trap in there. And we'll get all this gravel. I may have to take a little bit of the gravel out of here to get the thickness of the concrete I'm going to pour in here. So I'm probably going to get the wheelbarrow in here and we'll take some of this gravel out of here. I think I've got about 4-inch slab, I think is what we had. Yeah, 4 1/4, somewhere in there. So I'll get the gravel in there. Like I said, take some out if I need to. And then we will start working on the walls. We'll try to make sure everything is flat. We'll get the planer out, or we might have to shim here and there or whatever, just depending on the studs, how straight they are. So I like using clean wash gravel as fill. If you gotta ever get to it, you can take it out pretty easy. You're not having to worrying about packed in sand or rocks or trash, gravel. when you're checking your walls for straightness, that's all we're going to do is get a straight edge, something straight. This is my stability level. I got it because it's adjustable, and you're just going to put on there, and you want to see if it's going to rock anywhere. Oh, so we do have a high spot on this stud right here, kind of all the way down. So you definitely don't want to put the Curdy board on there because it's going to hump. It's styrofoam and it's not really rigid. If you're doing deck mud or mud, you could actually take that out with the mud, but we're not doing that. So we need to go ahead and adjust our studs to where they're going to be flat. And if you get a high one like that, it's just one. It'd be easier just to grab the planer and plane it off. This side we don't have to worry about because it's flat all the way anyway. That's all good. I got to get a longer level so I can do this back wall. The other levels I have are too long. So I got my track saw guide. I know that's straight. And just a very slight hump on that stud right there. Yeah, just about an 1/8 inch off of this one. Gonna mark it. I'll take an 1/8 off of here and about an 1/8 off of this one. Oh, we're getting somewhere. You'll just have to keep on until you get it right. You don't want to go too deep. You put her ass to sleep. Just right there. Just right there. Oh, I got a little foam sticking too. So that's going to be an issue. I had them to come back and reshave some of the walls because it was sticking out a little far. So now got a few places I might have to shave the foam too. Because that open cell foam, if you leave it too proud, it's hard to get it pushed back. It's pretty dense. You get into a scenario where you can't get the planer, any closer to your drywall or down at the bottom, just grab a flapper wheel. Works really good. Like a 40 grit. Need some more on that one. Turn the exhaust vent on. Still a little more. Still a little more. I got my mess cleaned up. So instead of doing a bunch more mess, I'll just use my vacuum. It got kind of a little dusty in here. If you're going to do a shower door, even if you're going to do a curtain of some sort, you still need some sort of blocking, but we are going to do a glass enclosure of some sort. I don't know if we're going to go frameless or what, but I put a 2x6 edgewise, or I had Steve put a 2x6 edgewise, so we've got a nice big surface screwing area, you know what I mean, in behind the drywall. And then over here we've got our plywood on the pocket door, so we've got something we can screw to there too. So just be sure if you're doing something to go ahead and add that blocking in there. It'll help you out in the long run, because some of those, if you're going with a frameless, those hinges and they're pretty heavy doors, and they really need some good meat in there to catch on to, instead of just relying on the tile itself. And be that guy that vacuums out the interior wall before you cover it up, you know what I mean? I've gone into stuff and there'd be crap all in there. I'm like, dude, it takes like 20 seconds to clean it up. All of our studs are nice and flat and in plane now. Everything should be plumb. I'll still get the big level, but overall we're good to go. And I know this because I framed it. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for me framing my own stuff, I'd have to rely on somebody. And you always hear horror stories about having to go behind people and how bad they do. My electrician tells me all the time how horrible he goes in and walls are out of level and plumb. Just even trying to get all his light fixtures and stuff, it'll be that bad out that he can measure on the bottom of the wall and then go up to the top, and it's like an inch and a half out. So horrible stories you hear about these people doing half-ass work. But thankfully, I'm able to do my own framing, and if I got to get on buddy, I can kick my own ass. But 99% of the time, it's very minimal adjustment, like what we just did here. Oh, excuse me. Before we install the Curdy board, I, of course, need to block for my seat. I think we're just going to do the better bench, the corner seat, corner floating seat. So I'm going to do some blocking in behind there. And I probably, I don't know. It's hard to do for handrails. I mean, you could do the whole thing, I guess. It's just hard, the orientation once you get in here, you know, as far as trying to put blocking for handrails, because it's not I mean, it's a pool house. It's not like somebody old's going to be living here. I guess they definitely could. It could be a mother-in-law suite by all means, but it's hard to know what that person's going to need, the orientation of the grab bar, vertical, horizontal, how long, you know what I mean? So I'm probably not going to put any blocking for a handrail right now, but we definitely got to do that. So we need to, well, I got to check the bottom too. The concrete's a little fat right there. I'm going to have to grind that off, and that plate right there is just a hair fat as well. Now that we have our drain established where it needs to go, we need to, like I said, get our blocking, and then we'll put our Curdy board on there. I want to put that Curdy board on there. That way we don't have a potential leak through right here. You know what I mean? If something for whatever reason did happen, this Curdy board is going to go down and go down past the concrete. So once I pour the slab and then we do the deck mud, if something did happen, water did get in behind that waterproofing, that it's going to go down and just shoot down the Curdy board. It's not going to have a place to go, you know, and get in through underneath the plate. If I poured the slab, which is going to be a little lower, I could definitely pour the slab and then put the curdy board on top of it, but I think it's going to be better if I run that curdy board all the way down to my rock, pour my concrete. That'll just give me a little bit of extra protection. You always want to try to just shingle as best you can. Just use it as a flashing. So if any water did get in there for whatever reason, if I had messed up, then it would just go down into the gravel. It's not gonna capillary action or anything like that into the other rooms, the adjacent rooms. I've cut some 2x8 for my blocking. Average bench is going to be usually about 18 inches is what I usually set them to. So I'm probably going to do my blocks probably at about 19, and that'll give me enough fluctuation with my bench that I can have a little room for adjustment, you know. So I'm gonna set, like I said, I'll just set this at 10 or 19 from the slab, from the top of your tile, you know. Now I'm gonna have to recess into my foam a little bit so I can get my blocking in there. Probably the most controlled way to cut your foam is with a multi-tool. I mean, it makes it messy, but it's not gonna get airborne. You start grinding and all that insulation, man, it goes everywhere. I think I'm done making messes, I think. So you can see our blocking's in there. Set at 19 inches, so I'll be able to put my bench on there however I need to. I got a little adjustment. And then this is what I was talking about, my concrete where it was formed up. It's kind of had a little lip on it, so I just broke that off, busted it off. And I may bring my Proseco in the morning and go ahead and just seal that up real good. The insulation guys put some silicone on it, but I'm not really a fan of silicone. So we may go ahead and just seal all this right here with some Proseco R-Guard just to give it a little extra flashing, you know what I mean? And then right there you can see where my plate is hanging over just a little bit. That's fine. That's about a 1/2 inch, so I'll probably just use some curdy board and put in behind there and just use it as a shim, you know what I mean? Just let it run down past. So I'm about to call it a day, so we'll get on it tomorrow. We will probably go ahead and, like I said, do the R-Guard, the Proseco around there. Get our flange, our curdy flange, where we need to have it set. Not glue it in yet, but we will get it set. And then we'll be ready to pour some concrete. We'll get the concrete and let it set for a few days and try to get some of that moisture out of there. And then we'll be good to go. I've got my Proseco R-Guard, which is in a sausage tube. This stuff works really well. I usually use it for the exterior, like around door openings or even around the bottom perimeter where the framing meets the foundation. This does really well. It's got a little fiber reinforcement in it, so it does really well on horizontal surfaces and vertical surfaces as well. But I'm just going to put a little bead right there on that outside band. Probably right there too, just to where water can't wick through there. If just a little extra precaution. You don't have to do this, but we're going to do it anyway. Here's a Proseco R-Guard sausage tube joint filler. You can get this on, I'll try to tag this on my video. I don't know if it'll let me. I don't know, I like the sausage tubes. It's really easy to clean up. You don't have a bunch of cartridges left over it either, you know. Just cut that little middle band off there. Just leave it just like that. And you're ready to go. Like I said, you won't have a bunch of the big bulky cartridges left over, you know. They just squish down to about that big. But this is some badass stuff. I don't know what's in it, but it really sticks to a lot of stuff. It's really durable. It's like liquid rubber of some sort, but it's a bad mamma jamma. 41 1/4 ripped, 88 1/2 tall. There's the Curdy board screw. It's got the little washer, which the screw's nothing special, it's just galvanized, but these are what you really need. That way it gets a lot of good force, holding force on that foam. So I use the Curdy board a lot. I do like it. I've used the concrete board, backer board in the past, and then used the waterproofing on top of it. But it takes quite a bit of time. This costs a little more, but it's a time saver. You don't have to apply the orange waterproofing on top of cement board or drywall. They say you can go right on drywall. That's perfectly fine. I don't like to do it. I'd rather have a cement backer in there, but Curdy says, or Schluter says you can do it, so you definitely can. But these are nothing special, just some galvanized screws. So we'll go ahead and get that installed on there. One thing about the Curdy board, it's really light. It's easy to work with. It's not dirty to cut, you know what I mean? Here we got something, got an issue. This is, the drywall's crooked or something. When you install the clips, they like about 12-inch spacing. If I had a Tile Bros little jig, I wouldn't even have to do this. He made his own, printed his own. Yeah, it's got a little, yeah, it is. You've got 2 holes, you put one on one and then you go with the other one. It's pretty neat. He's got his buddy, E-Tile. The one kind of helped him get all his square and everything going. Mm-hmm. I guess they had a big falling out with Calidad Tools. Now it's not Calidad Tools, now it's Crown Tools. He's done swapped. And Tile Bro supposedly, he's never even made money. It's been like for sale for like a year, and he's not even made any money off his design or something. I'd be pissed.
So like that company done, or like they just...
Yeah, he was like, whatever, I guess he was in partners with the Calidad guys, or however they started. I don't know exactly, but yeah, he's done swapped, and now he's Crown Tools, so kind of crazy. And once I kind of get my plan figured out where it needs to go, I'll just push them in there, and then you just come back and screw them. Try try to keep them all in line too. Just looks a little better. And I just kind of sink them in just a little bit, because once you put your curdy band on there, it makes it a little easier. You don't want them proud. Just kind of, you can kind of see it dent the curdy board just slightly. Here's the little filler strip I was talking about yesterday. Just a scrap piece cut off. Just use a little Prosico. Glue it on there. You could use Curdy Fix too as well. But that's just going to give it something for it to rest on. Way easier to cut than having to fool with cement backer. I know there's a couple more systems that they have now, W.K.D and Go Board and all that stuff. I've not used it. I've always just stuck with Schluter. It's never failed me. It's always a good product. I've not had any issues with it, so that's really not giving me any reason to want to swap, you know what I mean? So all of our plumbing has been pressure tested live with water. I do that before we put the insulation in, so that has to be done. You need to make sure that your water's not going to be leaking when you turn it on and behind everything, because that'd be a nightmare to fix later on. So we know where our stud location is for here. I'm not going to put the niche in yet, niche yet, until we figure out the orientation of our tile. I kind of got where I know I can't go. I've got some water lines down here and water lines up here, so I know a general vasectomy area that I can install the niche. So like I said, we'll just wait until we get our tile layout, how we're gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and mark my blocking as well for my seat, that way. Kinda gotta. Yep, we're having to back up and punt, so I didn't really notice it. Once I got my niche and I was going to put it here, it wouldn't be centered underneath the shower head, or however I put it, but we got to move it over, so we're going to have to take the board off and do some framing. I should have checked that before we got this far, but hey, it happens. One more time. That's why we so good. We do it twice. You do it until it's right, you know what I mean? I got the Curdy Fix caulking. Go ahead and just put a small, or not small, but a pretty decent bead on the edge of your panel. They don't say nothing about that, but it ain't gonna hurt. So, and then I'll just come back and put a little bit on the outside. You know, you got the Go board and all that, and they're just using the caulking. Honestly, I think you could probably do that with the Schluter. This stuff, this sealant, I think is probably just about like that other You could probably do the whole thing, do your nail heads, and it would probably be perfectly fine. I mean, I'm not going to, but I bet you could. Just saying. That would make the system a lot easier, because that's probably one of the downfalls is all the Curdy banding. You got to go over your nail heads and all that stuff. So that does take a little bit of time. And of course, the Curdy band in the corners and all that. So overall, it's a very, very user-friendly system, but that would be a time saver if you were able just to fill that son of a gun full and just smear it over with the Curdy fix. I think it would be good, but I don't know. All of our Curdy board is installed, and now it's time to figure out what we need to do with the drain height. So I was looking online about watching videos on this kind of particular thing from Schluter, and they recommend 1/4 inch fall per foot. So my furthest points I got like right at 3 feet. So if we do 3 feet times 1/4, then we need 3/4 of an inch fall. So here's our flange kit. Actually, this comes with the, this has got the mixing valve seal and the shower head pipe seal. And, it's also got inside outside corners. Cool. I didn't realize it had that. And then shims if you need it for the flange to hold it up. This is a 2-inch PVC flange, so we're gonna have to set our height, which will be the slab. I gotta get this stuff cleaned up. Walking all over it. So the top of our deck mud needs to be with the top of the slab. That way you've got a nice just walk-in point. So we're gonna have to allow for the thickness of the deck mud, and then the deck thickness of where this needs to set. So we gotta have fall, subtract all that, and then we need, I think they said 3/4 of an inch we can do underneath. They want 3/4 of an inch of deck mud underneath the flange, 1 inch on subfloor. I believe that's right. I'll have to check here in a minute again, but so we need 3/4 inches of mud, deck mud underneath here. That way when we set this. So I'm going to do a little calculations to see where we need to set the height of our concrete, and if I need to pull some more gravel out of here so I get a pretty decent thick, 3.5 inch thick slab. I was doing a little figuring. So if we've got the top of the slab, which comes across here, and then we've got 3/4 of an inch to the top of the flange, and then we need 3/4 of an inch of the deck mud, then we need to be 1.5 inches below the top of the slab. I think I'm gonna go a little more, do like 1 3/4 below the top of the poured slab will be the top of the slab that we're getting ready to pour. So that should give me just a little more adjustment if I need to with the flange height there. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get the laser set up. We'll draw a line around there, and then that way I can kind of measure down, see what I need to do with the gravel. So I think most of it's all right. It's kind of a little lower in the middle anyway. So that's what we're gonna do. I got a little gauge block, 1 3/4. So I got it set at the height of the slab. I'm just gonna use this to give me some marks, and then I can go from there. We are all set. 12, 11 1/4, yeah, 11 1/4, 11 1/2, 11 1/2, 11 1/2, 11 1/4, 11 1/2, 11 1/2. So we are all good to grade. I'm gonna get me a solid line drawn around there, and then we'll start mixing some concrete. This is what I'm gonna use, 4-inch reducing coupling. That fits in there pretty good. So even when I take it out, I'll have a little more adjustment room in there. Should be good to go. Put a couple wedges in there. I took some wire sheeting and I got it in the concrete there. Got some bricks underneath it so it'll hold it up. It's not going to smash down into there. Got it all mixed. This is high strength Sackcrete, which has just got more Portland in it. I got this old cheap ass concrete mixer, I don't know, 10 years ago from my dad probably. Takes a minute to get warmed up, but it works good. Beats the day I'm mixing in the wheelbarrow. This has been, I think I got 10 bags and we're at 8 right now. There we have our concrete poured. As you can see how I wanted the curdy board to go down past the concrete. That way if water ever did make it to that, it's not gonna, you know, it'll just go down. It'll go down in front of the curdy board and into the rock and it won't ever be an issue. So that was kind of my thinking on doing the curdy board like that. The concrete has set up pretty decent. So, I am going to wait though before we put on the deck mud. I'm just going to let a little bit of the moisture kind of get out of the concrete a little better. That way, I don't know, I just feel I'd rather have it a little more dry. So we may wait a day or two before we do the actual deck mud. But I'm going to take out my little form, my 4-inch reducing coupling. I'm going to take it out and kind of get ready what we need to do with our flange height. Get that buttoned up. I don't know, maybe more difficult in my hand. Like I said yesterday, I'm gonna have to beat it into 1,000 pieces to get it out of there. All right, let's see. There we go. Not too much damage. So I've got a little, now that I don't have this cut to the height that I need it, I do have a little pipe saw that goes inside and I can cut the height whatever I need it to be. Let's get our pipe length where we need to cut it at. So I just set it on the floor. We've got 3 3/4 to the bottom, almost 3 7/8 to the top. So we're gonna go to the bottom 3 3/4. So we know that we are going to set the flange at 3/4 above the concrete. So we put this on 3, and I know right here I need 7/8 of an inch that my pipe's gonna go into the fitting. So we get it on 3, and then minus 7/8, 2 1/8. So ideally we should be 2 1/8 inches below the top of the concrete here in the shower. There's my little pipe cutting tool. So what I did was measure 2 1/8 from the blade to here, put some tape on it, put me a black line on it so I can see a little better. And then I'm just gonna set this over the top and hopefully, you know what I mean? Try to eyeball it with that right there to keep it at the depth I need, because it's gonna be hard to get down in there and mark my pipe where it needs to be cut at. Didn't work too bad. I think it worked pretty good. Do a dry fit. Make sure. Three-quarters of an inch, right on the money. Which right now that's, well, it's gonna have 3/4 fall from there. What we really need to worry about is like from the corner, because it's almost 3 feet from the corner. Well, it is time to start installing the Ditra. We're going to use Schluter Ditra, not the XL, just the standard version, which is an 1/8 inch thick. It is for crack isolation. But before I do that, you can see my laser is set up right here. So I went and measured the width of my shower opening formed in the concrete, and it is not running parallel with the back wall, the Curdy wall. So I'm actually gonna have to put a little deck mud on there to kind of form out and get where I need, to have that parallel width in my shower pan. And then that'll actually help me out with the width of my shower door. I need my shower door to set on there. I kind of need to cheat it that way a little bit because my trim is going to be to here, measure over 4 1/4. So I need a little bit of extra room to have width to allow for my door to set on my tile, not into my shower pan, you know what I'm saying? So I measured from the back wall 40 inches, and then I marked 2 1/2 to give me some width to know, this is actually where my trim's gonna be right here. So 2 1/2 inches, that gives me 40 inches there. And then 40 inches over here, you can see it's a little different. So I got this concrete itself is out just a little bit. So we're gonna fix that by putting some deck mud on there. Got the laser set up, and you can see it kind of runs out a little bit. It's not horrible. I'll get my camera to go. But we do need to make it, we do need to have this laser line, the width of the shower needs to run parallel to the wall. So that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get a little thin set or all set. We'll mix up some all set. And then I've got some deck mud that I just picked up from Lowe's. Just kind of like the pre-mix kind. And then we'll just kind of get that set, get that going. We'll let it harden, and then we'll be ready to install our Ditra. There is the mud mix, my pie, however you want to say it. I mixed up a little bit of my Schluter all set because we need to have the thin set to make it bond, make the dry deck mud bond to the concrete itself. So 4 to 1, which when I read it kind of looked like you put 3 to 1, mix ratio, which I don't need a whole hell of a lot, so I got a little canister here. 1, 2, 3. That's gonna be really close, I think, because I'm not doing a whole lot of nothing really. So I got to reading on it. 4 to 1 just means it's properly mixed in the sack. You know what I mean? You don't have to, you're not gonna put 4 scoops and then 1 part of water. So we just want it to a very humid consistency anyway, to kind of hold a ball. So we'll just start out with about a half a thing of water. That's going to be pretty close. Maybe just a touch more. That's pretty close, I think. Yeah. So all you want to do is just kind of do like that. Just kind of hold the ball, you know what I mean? So we're just going to take some thin set. Get it in there. Like I said, all you're using this for is a bonder. If you don't, it's not going to stick. A binder. And I haven't done a ton of mud bed stuff over the years. Well, let me take it back. I guess I have. As far as shower pans, I've done a lot of rubber liners. You know, and then deck mud, I have done that in a way in the past, back before social media was a thing.
Just push your sides and then put some pressure on it.
So just hold it and just smash it down into it. Set the laser back up. Dude, this is one of the best things I love about this new Milwaukee laser. I got a little fine-tuned knob right there. I think it's amazing. Right there it looks like. Right on there. Still just kind of a little fat right there. While my deck mud is drying there on the little curb, gives me a chance to go ahead and just kind of dry fit all of my Ditra into place. Man, Ditra is so easy to work with. Ditra heat is good too. I kind of would like to use the peeling stick. That way you don't have to worry about thin setting everything down, you know, or all setting. It is time to install the Ditra. I got my Schluter all set mixed up, ready to go, my trowel. I've got all of my Ditra pieces cut. Prior to this, I had to clean the concrete. You really need to have a nice good substrate for the mortar to stick to. So I took TSP, right here, trisodium phosphate, mixed it with water, scrubbed it on there, mopped it off and dried. I did that yesterday, just kind of planning ahead. So you need to clean that. That's a good cleaner, good hard surface cleaner. Does really well. A lot of times I'll rent a big floor scrubber if you got a lot of room and a lot of concrete to clean. It cleans it really well. So I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna spread out some all set and get our Ditra down. Plan behind doing the Ditra first was because it's gonna be thicker and I need it in the setting right here. I need that thickness so I can actually do my deck mud to it. That way I'm not having an issue later when I go back and have to build it up. So I want to go ahead and put my Ditra down and then I can come back and do my deck mud in the shower. So they say to take your flat edge and kind of burn it into the concrete and scrape it, and then come back and put more mud and trowel. All right, so the key to Ditra is to get it nice and flat. The best way to do that is with a roller. Schluter makes a roller, but I've kind of heard not very good things with it. It's kind of over time it will kind of come apart. So I didn't have one to buy, so I decided to make one of my own. Let me show you. Y'all ready? Yes, sir. Oh, can you tell what this is? You know what that is? Any guesses? Come on. That's right. If you've guessed a material support, that's it. I took a $25 material support, whatever you want to call it, for your chop saw. I welded a bracket together, bolted it to the stand here, and now when I don't need it, I can use it as a material support for my saw. And you know, just it's a two tools in one for basically 25 bucks, because all the metal I had was just scrap. So it's working. That works like a champ, man. That is awesome. It is time, y'all, that we go ahead and get our deck mud installed. I'm gonna go ahead and vacuum it up real quick, get it nice and clean, and then I'm gonna mix up some of the deck mud, and we will set the drain flange, get it set how we need it to, level and make sure everything's good to go, and then we'll just go ahead and start throwing in some mud. I've got my Schluter all set, got it mixed up. We got our dry pack material, which is right there, our deck mud. So you just want to kind of keep it humid, make it into a ball where it packs really nice. So what we're going to do first is grab some of the all set, go around, put some deck mud on top, just kind of pile it up there, glue our flange in there, and then push it down into it and get it set level. So we've already cut our pipe for our flange to be the desired height that we need. So ideally we wanted 3/4, I think. Schluter recommends 3/4 of an inch underneath the flange here. On concrete, on subfloor, I think it's an inch, maybe 1.25 inches. I don't know, I'll have to go back and look at that, but it's whatever this, whatever I set it at. And so this is right at 3/4 of an inch. So we're gonna have to put some offset around there. That's what binds the deck mud to the concrete. Alright, so we'll go with the deck mud now. And we'll just glue our flange on right here.
We're not doing Hoover this year
Yeah.
because of the kids we got. That's a little too high level for the group that we got this section. Mr. Do-It-All.
So make sure you get your flange glued in there level. Kind of smash it up in there. Because you want that, you got to smash it in there because you need that flange supported by the mud. You want a weak spot in there. Go ahead and keep you a sponge handy. Wipe nice and clean. I did get a little deck mud down in my drain, just a little bit, not much, so don't freak out about it. We'll let it dry and put the shop vac down in there and suck it out of there. Just don't forget if you do get mud in there. So what I'm going to do is I'll put a little band of offset around the outside, and that's where I'm going to get started. I'm going to go ahead and start getting my outside perimeter screed point fixed. So that's all. That's like I said. I'm just gonna put down some Schluter, put down some offset, and get to packing some mud. Nope. So about messed myself up. I'm gonna go ahead and curdy band the corners and that other seam right there. It probably doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but in my opinion, I think I'm gonna go ahead and put the Curdy band on there, and then we'll put my floor, the deck mud to it. Okay, and then we'll come back, do our waterproofing on our floor, and then we'll do our Curdy band on top of that. So everything kind of gets, I don't know. Let me read up on that. All right, so what I did was I put about an 8-inch piece of Curdy band in the corners there, both corners, and then this little seam. Because I'd already mixed up some of my deck mud, and by the time I did all that stuff, I didn't want my deck mud to be dry, so I just put some short pieces in there, and then I'll come back and we'll do the deck mud, let it dry, put our Schluter membrane down, our Curdy membrane down. We'll do our wall flashing, Curdy band along the tub, or Curdy band flashing from the shower pan to the wall, and then we'll come and I'll do the corner piece and overlap everything, you know what I mean? So we'll just shed it like water. That's kind of my thinking. But we'll get a little mud on there and get to it. Where is my bucket scraper? There it is. Oh, big guy in a little shower. Slap some deck mud into there. So I'm gonna start in this corner. Just make sure you're flush with the top of your Ditra. Need a little more. I need a little more mud. There we go, beautiful. So we're all level. This end. So I kind of got it all how I want it. All slicked up. Kind of cut this back. Just kind of smooth that, slope it just a little bit. That way I'm working on the other side. It'll be setting up we'll get back over here on the right side. Just throw it in there, kind of big. Get a good smash on it. Then we'll come back and throw some more. Get it level. I'll have to get my groove back on. I hadn't done this in a long time. I've done a few of them. Said I've not done a lot of them. Back in my earlier years, I've done several of them. One house for the Heather Melton. We did every shower like this, and I think there was 5 of them in there. So, but that was back in 2017. Oh, gotta get my pad here. Oh. Get flush. Need a little more mud. It's not made for a big guy. And I don't like knee pads. Hate knee pads. Pull the hair on the back of my legs. They're not comfortable. So I use this boat cushion. A little more. Beautiful. Nope, too much. I had it and I let it go. Oh. Oh, thin set. Got my finger in some thin set. Ah, come on now. That's what's good about it though. It's very forgiving. It's easy to work with. If you get it too low, you put a little more. Too high, just keep smacking. There we go, we're getting somewhere now. Beautiful. It's kind of late in the afternoon, so I don't think I'll be able to finish the mud pan tonight. So I'm gonna kind of get this cut back on a slope. Kind of make it look a little neater. And then tomorrow, I'll come back and finish the floor part. But that'll give me just a lip. That'll give me good screed lip after it sets up anyway. It kind of does a little better than trying to do when it's soft. Might help me out a little bit. I'm not as experienced as some of these other guys, so. I'm experienced, I just don't do it daily like the other guys. I'm not as quick as the other guys, but as far as experience, I do have it.
Wood float? Wait, oh, wood float?
Yeah, pretty dang good. Now I've got all of my work area back cleaned up, vacuumed out. I got my drain vacuumed out. What my deck mud fell down into there. But you can kind of see my little curb that I got set up. And this just gives me a nice screed point, you know what I mean, to go to the drain. And this is figured at a 1/4 inch slope per foot. That's what I set the drain height to. So it should be pretty straightforward now. All I have to do is mix up some all set, and we'll do the same thing. I'll just mix up a few more buckets of deck mud because it's going to take quite a bit. So I'll get a pretty good stash of deck mud, and then we'll start throwing it in there and screeding it up. All right, so let's get at it. I'm gonna go ahead and put it up on this curb. I don't know if it necessarily needs it, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little binder up there. Where is my little knife? Little trowel. And I also put it up on the flange, on the side of the flange there. That way it'll bond up against the flange itself too. I got my drain vacuumed out. I'm gonna go ahead and put a rag in there just to help out today. So I'm gonna dump this as a bucket full. Kind of get that base layer kind of smacked in there pretty good. I'll come back and screed it. And then I just use my trowel. You can kind of see where it needs a little mud. It'll kind of be a little rough. It's got a little rough patch. Just put a little deck mud over there. Yeah, that's better. Whew. I'm back and forth mixing mud. I had 5 bags. I think I'm at 3 right now. So I should be really close. I thought the piece of aluminum would work pretty good, but it doesn't do very well. Mistaken, this is 4 bags. I've got 5. It is going to be damn close.
Damn close.
Oh, powder there. Daggone it. I think we're all right. I got about a half a bag left. So if you're doing a small tile like me, a penny tile, that sucker needs to be right, you know what I mean? Because if not, you're gonna feel it, you're gonna know it. Or any type of mosaic, surely. Beautiful. Beautiful. I think I've got just enough. Talking just barely. I made it. I got just a little bit left. I got to clean my level. That thing is going to be trashed. Just a few more splashes. I think we'll have it. Just try to keep this edge nice and tight. Make sure you got a nice flush transition with your flame. If you need to go back and add a little more, that's fine. Just throw a little loose shake on there. And now we've got a super flush transition. There it is. That's our deck mud shower tray, curbless entry. So, man, I was kind of I wasn't worried, but it has been a while. It had been a while since I've done one, so I guess I was kind of anxious more so than worried, but because I have done it before. It's not a huge deal, but like I said, I do have the experience to do it. I just don't do it daily, sometimes annually. You know what I mean? I do a lot of my own showers, or actually, sorry, not a lot. I do all of my own showers. I do culture marble pans. I kind of like that the best because there's no towel to keep clean. It's a solid poured floor. Do the Schluter trays. I do like those. Those are pretty cool. So this is just an option that you can do and you need to do if you're using a really small tile versus a foam tray from Schluter. You know what I mean? If you're wanting tile in the shower base, I think they recommend, I think I said earlier, but I think they recommend 2x2, I think, is the minimum size. But check it out. Looks really good. Really happy with it. So I'll finish cleaning my tools. We'll let that dry really well. And tomorrow or the next day, I don't know, depending on what we got going on in here, we may go ahead and I'll go ahead and finish putting the curdy fabric on there, getting everything waterproofed, do the curdy band around the bottom, and then probably finish the video. I don't know. I may go ahead and finish all the waterproofing in the shower, maybe. We'll see. Just see how I feel when I get to that point. Well, I've had the designer over here, the homeowner. We picked up all the tile the other day, so no, we got it. We got what we're going to get. So we're going to use 1x2s. This on the floor, just on the body of the floor. Shower, we're going to use penny tile. Like I said, that's why we went with the mud pan, because these little tiles don't have enough surface area. You step on one of those, it's liable to push down on a foam tray. So that's why they recommend a bigger tile, because you don't have the surface area with something that small. And then wood tile. We'll go wrap around and then go all the way to the ceiling up there. So I don't know if you can see that. See that white patch? So after I had all of my deck mud put in there, I was walking on it, took my shoes off and was walking on it, and I could feel just a little dippity doodah in there. So I took some Schluter All Set and had me another little screed board and just kind of put a skim coat over it. And then I screeded it. I couldn't think of the word. And then I screeded it, let that dry. I still kind of had little ridges and stuff in it. And then I took my resin cup grinding wheel and then just kind of sanded it like sanding some Bondo, you know what I mean? Just kind of blocked it out. So now I got a super smooth transition. And you really can't feel it with your shoes on, so a lot of times I'll take my shoes off and walk on it barefooted or with my socks on. That way you can kind of really feel it, because if it feels like that, you put the tile on it, it's going to be just like that. So if you need to address it, go ahead and do that before you put your membrane down. It's a little easier to do it that way. My Curdy fabric. So I called the Schluter girl, Miss Shannon Huffstickler. She is an associate at Schluter, and she just so happens to be a social media advisor thing. I don't even know what her title is exactly, but she gets everybody on social media and kind of hooks them up. So she's done a lot for me, and a lot of people actually. We just got to go to a NASCAR race in Atlanta a couple weekends ago, and man, we had the whole VIP treatment. It was insane. So anyway, I texted her yesterday, make sure I got this done right before I told y'all. So you can put this right on top of your deck mud. We'll cut out a hole in the center. Basically go from wall to my Ditra. And then as it gets to my Ditra, then I will take the Curdy band, and we will band this right here. We'll put a band, and then of course we will band around the bottom as well. But I'll get the camera down a little lower where you can kind of see what's going on. Oh, I'm just going to run it up to the edge of my Curdy board. Trim that just a little bit, which will be fine. It's good on this side. And then I've just got a disc, it's 7 inches. I'm just gonna mark where the center of my drain flange is, which a 7-inch works just about perfect. And then I need to cut that just a little bit. Cut that right there. You can cut it with a utility knife, but I just like a good pair of scissors. I think it's the easiest. Just going inside of that line just a hair. And then I can adjust it if I need to. Let's go back just a little bit too. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Beautiful. So they say either with a 1/8 by 8 trowel, Ditra trowel, or 3/16 V-knot trowel. I got the 3/16 V-knot. try to do all directional troweling. So air can escape. Let's install the fabric of our lives. Not the easiest. I could got it right there though. Yeah, looks good. Flange looks good. Beautiful. Let me go get my trowel, my taping knife. Just get the excess. Put some pretty good force on it, not real super hard. You don't want to catch the fabric. Get all the air bubbles out of there. And the excess mud. You'll just keep working your way to the edge. And let that squeeze out of there. Just like so. Little bird's eye view. Just get that mud out of there. I gotta go. If you've seen my videos before, you know I use a mud pan, drywall mud pan, to get all my excess mud. Keeps your knife cleaned off really good. We got a really good bond. I got the zip tape roller. I use this thing for everything, man. I do. I don't think this is a step you have to do, but I always thought it did good. Make sure you get your center drain all cleaned out. Beautiful. So now I need to let that set up just a little bit, and that way I can do my Curdy band. And I'm going to run my Curdy band, since it's a curbless, I'm going to run my Curdy band all the way to my casing over here, and then over here I'm going to run it as far as I can go behind the casing right there. That way, in case we do have a little splash out. Over here is not going to be such a big deal because we're going to have a glass panel that sits there, you know, to block all the water. But we will go ahead and band the drywall underneath the baseboard just for a little extra precaution so we don't get any flow through into the next room if for whatever reason it did get that crazy. I'll do my Curdy band on the transition here. So as long as you, wherever you start and stop, whatever you're doing, as long as you have a 2-inch overlap, that is what Curdy recommends. Cut it just a little bit. Yep. So I should be able to, I think that line is about 2 inches right there. So I should be able to mud to that line, and then it'll have 2 inches on my Ditra, and we will be to the parameters that Schluter wants. Be sure to fill these dimples up on the Ditra. They won't grow on me. Sometimes you cut it and then by the time you get it put in there, you kind of stretch it and it grows. So just squeeze that mud out of there. That's where the mud pan comes in handy. Keeps your knife clean. I hate having a like that. And Ditra is waterproof, so if you have like a wet room, you can use Ditra and then just curdy the seams. Curdy band the seams and there you go. Waterproof. Like right here, I didn't see any mud squeeze out of there. It's right there to the edge. Yeah, we don't have. I need a little bit of mud right there. So go ahead and roll it. What the hell? What the hell? Hey, how you doing? Just lay it down. Very important. Schluter's preformed corners. I put the window over there. As you can see that, it was in the box, and man, it freaking got hammered. I don't know how it got bent out of shape. I tried to get it back into shape, but usually they're very easy to put in. And that one kind of gave me a little fit over there. I had to do it a couple times. Once it kind of got soft with thin set, it kind of made it a little more pliable, but they're very easy to install. It's a 2 trowel application though. Or I do. I use 2 trowels. Maybe this one won't give me much trouble. I don't know. Seems like it's already doing it. Yeah, it's puckered already. You son of a gun. I'll do like I did last time. Do it a couple times. Get it wet. A little more pliable. I've never had that happen before. These are pretty easy to put in, like I said. Just when you think you got it, it puckers up. I'll just redo it all together. Like I said, I had to do that one a couple times. Got the fabric a little soft and it finally started doing what I wanted it to. Let's see what it's gonna do. I'm on the dirt bag. Oh, it pulled it up, didn't it? It did pull it up. I ain't never in my life. Oh, here we go. You dirty hooker. Man, what is the deal? Come on. Maybe. 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 Oh! Daggone it, man. Just right there. It's right there where it had a bend in it. Oh my gosh. Ah, finally. Finally, well. That was a pain. Little curdy band. I tried to crease it. It don't crease really well, but just kind of give you a starting point. Two-inch overlap. Little long, little long. So guess what happened when I was fooling with that corner? Son of a bitch puckered again. I'm tired of fooling with it. I can't take it off now. I'm not going to take it off. It's just right at the very top lip. So tomorrow I will get some Curdy Fix caulking, and we'll get that song going to go back down. You know what I mean? We'll get it. We'll get it sealed up. Oh my goodness, what a pain in the butt. Make sure your corners are not all wrinkled up. First time I ever had it like that. Y'all, we got it complete. You can see the Curdy band, brought it out to the trim, got the trim back on there. And then on this side, brought the Curdy band all the way out to this trim. Excuse me. So that is it. One curbless shower entry on a concrete slab. The only downfall, I think, with the Schluter and the Curdy band is all the layers. So you can kind of see right there, I put some mud, some thin set, and I'll put some thin set right there just to kind of make that even Steven. Because if you don't, and we're doing those really small penny tile, you'll see a difference. They'll kind of move because they're so small. So I will probably go over that maybe another time and just try to make it a nice little more smoother transition. And then probably right here on the face too, where that meets, I think I'm actually going to have to set my floor tile. And then when I'm ready to do my shower floor, I'm going to have to take some more thin set and screed it, make a little lip on it, because by the time I put the floor tile, which is thick, and then the thin set underneath it, it's going to be pretty high. So I'm going to have to build up a little difference to make sure my penny tile flushes out with the top of it. So sometimes you do have to do that, like if you're doing a decorative band or something, a lot of times they're thinner, so we have to do that a lot of times too. So it's no big deal, but yeah, pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out.
All right, y'all, so that's it. That was my video on how to make a curbless entry shower on a concrete slab. There are a couple of reasons why I like using the Schluter products. One is the system's very user-friendly. All the products are easy to use. You can find a lot of information on them. And probably two is customer service. Schluter is really good about educating all of their people how to install their products correctly. They have videos, and there's a lot of people out there that do have videos that are certified and know what's going on. But the customer service side of it is, if you really needed to talk to a representative, you can do that very easily. Shannon, the Schluter girl, she's on Facebook. She's on Instagram, everywhere. But I mean, not just her, but they do have reps in your area that you can contact and talk to them directly. They will, in some cases, come out and gladly show you how to do something. And what's cool about Schluter, probably one of the best thing is that I found out, everyone that works for Schluter, everybody that I have met as a representative that works for Schluter has been in the tile industry. They have been tile setters, so they know what the hell is going on. So that right there, it says a lot about Schluter, that they want the people that work for them to know what the hell's going on. There are other systems out there, and they're probably good, but I have not found a reason why I need to go and use another system. This has never let me down. And Schluter stands behind their product, and I've built a good relationship with them. But honestly, if something works for me, why change it? Why try to go to something else? There's no need. So if one of y'all try to tackle this project and you run into some issues, always drop a comment. I try to answer a lot of comments. So if you're having an issue, I'd be glad to answer it. So drop a comment and let me know. All right, y'all, so once again, I'm Keith Dykes. This was the curbless shower entry on a concrete slab video. Thanks for watching. And as always, got it, Coach. You guys have you a wonderful day.